now that we've talked about how being on the balls of your feet makes you more agile as a player, let's talk about the negative side effects that come along with being on your toes so often. One is balance. It can affect the way your body is balanced, because when you're only on the toes of your feet, now you don't have as much contact with the ground as opposed to having your foot flat on the ground. You don't have as much balance when you are up on the balls of your feet because you have less contact with the ground. But the way to sort of compensate for being off balance a little bit is just to lengthen the stride of your legs just a little bit in order to have more of a broad base for your toes being on the ground. And once you get used to having that little bit of broadened base and being up on your toes, you're really going to be able to adapt to that rather quickly, and it's not something that is going to throw you off for very long. Secondly, and more importantly, is the wear and tear you're going to be putting on your lower extremities. So when you are flat-footed, having your heel on the ground with the rest of your foot helps to take away the weight and the strain and helps you to balance better when you have your foot flat on the ground. But when you're up on the balls of your feet, because now you have your entire body weight just on your toes, you're putting a lot more strain on your entire lower extremities. So now there's even more strain on your toes and the balls of your feet, also on your Achilles tendons and your knees, also on your hips. All of that has to compensate for when your heel would normally be on the ground. All of the rest of that now compensates for all of your body weight. And we're not talking about just standing here being sentinel up on the balls of your feet. We're talking about you accelerating and changing direction absolutely as quickly as you can. And that's a lot of force, that's a lot of energy to be putting on those joints over and over again, time and time again, every day out here on hard asphalt and concrete. And I made the mistake when I was young that because being on the balls of my feet worked so good for me in terms of increasing my agility and giving me the quickest agility I could possibly have, I used that all game, every game. I was on the balls of my feet all game, every game. And at the time I didn't see a problem with that because I was young and I was light on my feet and it didn't feel like I was doing any damage to my body in the process of doing that. But you fast forward 15, 20 years later of constantly being on my toes, I gave myself all kinds of arthritis in the process of doing that. Also, I have bunions on the bottoms of my feet because of being on my toes all game, every game. So that's something that you need to weigh in terms of how and when you're going to use being on the balls of your feet. Use it enough to increase your agility when you need it, but don't overdo it and be on the balls of your feet when you don't feel that you need to be. So that's how to build the best street ball agility.